The Chesapeake Bay is the largest estuary in the United States. Its 64,000 square mile watershed contains parts of 6 states and is made up of 150 major rivers and 100,000 smaller streams. These streams and rivers create over 11,000 miles of shoreline, which is more than the entire west coast of the United States. This creates an excellent habitat for over 3,600 species of plants and animals. Rainwater runs off the ground collecting in the streams and flows down into the main stem of the bay. These streams are home to frogs, turtles, and freshwater fish. As rainwater travels down to the bay, it begins to mix with the salt water from the ocean, forming brackish water. Along the banks of these brackish rivers are marshes dominated by cordgrass. These marshes are a great nursery for fish, crabs, turtles, and ducks. The bay eventually ends in Norfolk, Virginia, where it flows into the Atlantic Ocean. This is approximately 200 miles away from where the bay began in Havre de Grace, Maryland. One of the most famous species is the eastern oyster. The oyster was known as Chesapeake Gold because it was once harvested in great abundance in the bay. Oysters are particulate feeders and clean the water as they eat tiny algae. The bay is also home to many other economically important species, such as blue crabs, menhaden, and rockfish, also known as striped bass.
Every watershed is made up of smaller watersheds. The Baltimore Harbor is a smaller watershed of the Chesapeake Bay watershed, but the Baltimore Harbor is actually the Patapsco River, which widens to form other rivers that enter it, including the Jones Falls, the Gwynns Falls, and the Herring Run. This area covers over 4,000 square miles of land, which includes farmland, suburban, and the city. Everything runs off the land. Throughout the years, the Baltimore Harbor has seen a lot of change. When colonists first arrived, Native American villages were their first sight. After European colonization, Baltimore became one of the nation's most important ports. Because of access to a deep water port, factories began to spring up around the harbor. But by the 1950s, factories began to shut down and move out of the city.
With the closing of factories, Baltimore decided to reinvent itself as a tourist destination. The National Aquarium opened in 1981 and quickly became a popular attraction. Currently, Baltimore is working towards the Harbor 2.0 plan, which includes the goal to have a swimmable and fishable harbor by 2020. The aquarium will be helping with this by developing a new outdoor campus. This will create a great place to visit, as well as provide habitat for wildlife and improve water quality in the harbor.